Hey guys, welcome back to day 24. Today we're going to talk about x and y intercepts. So on a graph, if we have a graph here, I have the coordinate grid. If I make a line and I draw it and it will go through, the x-axis would be at this point right here and the y-axis would be right here at that point. Okay, this is known as the x-intercept. And this point here would be known as the y-intercept, where it crosses the x, so where it crosses the axis. So the x-intercept of a function is where the graph crosses the x-axis. Okay, so we're going to find the value of x when y is equal to 0. So that's the same as finding the zeros of a function. Okay, and we did that last unit. So same as finding the zeros. All right, the y-intercept of a function is where the graph crosses the y-axis. Okay, to do that, we're going to find the value of y when x is equal to 0. Okay, so to do it, okay, algebraically, here we have an equation of a line. All right, it's 2x plus y is equal to 28. Okay, we're going to find the x-intercept. To do that, you'll see me do this a lot. I'm going to say let my y be 0. Okay, just keeping myself organized. So to find the x-intercept, we let the y be 0. So in this equation here, we've got 2x. Now instead of y, I'm just going to put a 0 is equal to 28. Now I didn't need to write that because anything 2x plus 0 is 28. So we can just write that 2x is equal to 28. And then we can divide by 2 and solve. Our x is going to be 14. So the final answer would be the x-intercept would be x would be 14 and our y would be 0. So our x-intercept is an ordered pair. All right. The y-intercept, we're finding the y, so let's let the x be 0. Okay, using again this function here, we've got 2x, so it's 2 times 0 plus y is equal to 28. That means our y is just equal to 28. So our ordered pair would be, we said the x was 0 and the y was 28. So that would be our y-intercept. Okay, example number 2, to find the x-intercept. Again, I let my y be 0. All right, so 3x plus 2 times 0 is equal to 6. So 3x is equal to 6. We divide by 3. Our x is equal to 2. So the x-intercept, x would be 0, x would be 2, y would be 0. And then the y-intercept, we let our x be 0. So now we've got 3 times 0 plus 2y is equal to 6, or just 2y is equal to 6. We divide by 2, and our y is equal to 3. So our x is 0, and our y is 3. Okay, so I want you to try the next two. So pause the video and then come back and let's check the next two. So coming back, our x-intercept, okay, I'm going to let my y be 0. So we're going to find the x and y intercepts. So we've got 5x is going to be equal to 35. Okay, because my y just went to 0, so I'll just skip that step. And I divide by 5. My x is 7. So my x-intercept would be 7, 0. Now my y-intercept, I let my x be 0, and I'm left with negative y is equal to 35. When I divide by negative 1, y is equal to negative 35. So my y-intercept would be would be 0 rather. Oops, made a mistake. Again, my x is 0, so my y would be negative 35. Okay, so hopefully you did those and checked them both. Got the right answer. Now trying number 4. Okay, my x-intercept, I let my y be 0. When I do that, sometimes I just like to cover up this term right here, and I think of 3x is equal to 9. Okay, when I divide by 3, x is equal to 3. So my x-intercept would be 3, 0. Okay, now my y-intercept, get that back again. My y-intercept, I let my x be 0. So when I do that, I'm left with negative 3y is equal to 9. Divide by negative 3. My y is equal to negative 3. So my y-intercept, okay, would be 0. Whoops. would be 0, negative 3. Okay, all right, so we can use our graphs. Actually, let's use graphs to find the x and y intercepts and graph it. So for this number 5, if we look at this equation, we are going to find the x-intercept. So we'll let our y be 0. When we do that, our we get 3x plus 9 times 0 is 0. So 3x is just going to be equal to negative 18. We divide by negative 3, and our x is going to be equal to 6. So our x-intercept is 6, 0. All right, so to graph that, now we're going to go over x is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So our x-intercept is right here on the x-axis, and it's at 6, 0. All right, our y-intercept, we let our x be 0, and when we do that, we're left with 9y is equal to negative 18. So when we divide by 9, our y is equal to negative 2. So our y-intercept, we get 0, negative 2. So we're going to count on the grid, and our negative 2 is right here. Okay, we've got our 2 points. Once we have the 2 points, we can just, oops, I'm not sure why this came up. Okay, we can then just connect them and extend the line. Okay, use a ruler here. Okay, and then just make the line continue to go. Okay. All right, so we graphed the x and y intercepts and we connected to 2 points using a line. All right, so now if you guys could try the next one, okay, maybe pause the video and try it. Okay, you can then continue. All right, and then we will check it. So for number 6, we've got our x-intercept. We let our y be 0. So we left with 0 is equal to 1/2 x minus 3. Bring the 3 to the other side. 3 is equal to 1/2 x. Multiply both sides by 2, and we end up with 6 is equal to x. So our x-intercept, okay, we'll do it like this, 2 and 2 so you can see it. Okay, so our x would be at 6, 0. And then our y-intercept, let's let our x be 0. So y would be equal to 1/2 times 0 minus 3, which is just negative 3. So our y-intercept would be at 0, negative 3. So then when we graph the 6, 0, we'd have the point right here at the x-intercept, and the y-intercept would be right here at negative 1, 2, 3. Okay, we can then connect the 2 points with the line. Okay. All right, so we then have some special cases. Okay, now with number 7, all right, if you notice, let's find our x-intercept. If we do that, we let our y be equal to 0, okay? All right, if we do that, our y is 0, we end up with 0 is equal to 12, okay? In that case, there is no x-intercept, all right? Well, what does that mean? Okay, so no x-intercept. But let's try our y. So with our y, we let our x be equal to 0, but there's no x, so we're left with negative 4y is equal to 12. We divide by negative 4, and our y is equal to negative 3. So our y-intercept is at 0, negative 3. So right here on the y-axis, we go down to 1, 2, 3. All right. And because there is no x-intercept, it never crosses the x-axis. That means it's actually going to be a horizontal line. Okay. So if it's you just have the y variable, you're going to have a horizontal line. All right, and there is no x-intercept. All right, but this would be the y-intercept. All right, now looking at number 8. Okay, number 8 is the opposite. Okay, if we find our x-intercept, okay, we let our y be 0. Okay, well now we're left with 2x is equal to 8. We divide by 2. Our x is equal to 4. So our x-intercept is at 4, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, there's our point. But for a y-intercept, when we let our x be 0, we're left with 0 is equal to 8. Well, that's a false statement, so we know there's no y-intercept. Okay, so since there's no y-intercept, actually we're never going to cross this y-axis, and the only way we can do that is if we have a vertical line. Okay, so in that case, it's going to be a vertical line with no y-intercept, and this would be the x-intercept here. Okay, so I want you guys to practice and try. So you can practice everything on the next page, 9 through 17, and then I want you to just go to the answer key and compare your answers. Thanks, bye-bye.